Welcome to From Caving In to Crushing It, the podcast for those who find themselves immersed in adversity and choose to write their story instead of having others write it for them. I'm Drew Duraney, and I'm your host. Hey, Tom, so nice to see you.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. So this is the first chance you and I have had to see each other on Zoom because when we had our intro or our pre-podcast recording call, one of my children, my middle guy, my son, it was my older guy. No, my middle guy. He was having knee surgery. Yeah, I had one that did a wisdom tooth a different day. I'm going all over the place, but yeah, my middle guy, who was 21, had a knee surgery, and I was there, and I didn't want to cancel the call with Tom, so I tried calling from the place. They had bad Wi-Fi. I ended up driving around the town for better signal to get a chance to talk to Tom.
But we made it work.
We made it work, and I'm so happy to have Tom on. So, folks, I always start with talking about how when we're young, and it's not a malicious teaching. We're taught by everybody when we're young that life is linear. If we do A plus B plus C, D is going to happen. You're born, you go diapers, you crawl, you walk, you go to preschool or kindergarten, preschool, whatever, preschool, kindergarten, middle school, high school, college, you get married, you have kids, you raise them the same way. And for the most part, life is linear until it's not. Ultimately, an external circumstance comes along, gets in between one of those letters, and then kind of derails our path from that straight line to a more circuitous route. When that happens, adversity shows up. We either see it or we don't. Man number one is the man who doesn't see the adversity. He's got a ton of blind spots. He's just not paying attention. He's on autopilot. He's living life the way people told him, that linear path. And when things happen, he just says, okay, that's happening and I'll just do it. And nothing changes. Then there's man number two. Man number two notices the adversity. But you know what? Man number two is the victim. He plays the blame game. That's life doing it to him, not for him. He can't control anything. So he decides to live life just the way it's presented to him. Woe is me. And on his deathbed, he has a ton of regrets. Then there's man number three. That's Tom LaGrave. That's the men and women I have on this show. They see the adversity and they say, you know what? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. That adversity is not a barrier. It's an opportunity for me to take massive action, do something different, and become a stronger man on the other side. That's Tom LaGrave. So I'm going to ask Tom, for the audience, my friend, reach back as far as you need to for that defining moment, that tap on the shoulder, the whisper in the ear, or what I needed, 2x4 upside my head, that really transformed you from the man you were to the man you are, and how that transformation impacted you as a person, and then kind of handled a difference in your professional life. Care to share, my friend?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for me to start, it would be age 14. Did my first drink and my first drug.
You get a little louder. I want to make sure we can hear you.
Yeah. Let's make sure you can hear me. So everything for me started at the age of 14.
Okay.
I did my first drink and my first drug. And it took me almost 15 years to realize that that was a problem. So at the age of 18, I left my father's house. He threw me out because I was getting high with a younger brother. And there was nowhere to go. I was out on the street. So I decided, you know what? I'm not going back to him. I'm not going to kiss his rear end. I'm going to figure this out. And I entered the military. I joined the Navy, became a hospital corpsman. Turns out that in the third week of boot camp, I was given an opportunity to take a screening test to become a Navy SEAL. So I had no idea what that was, but I liked the challenge. In high school, I was athletic, and it's like, let's see what happens. Bottom line is, I passed the screening test. I end up on the Silver Strand on February 29th, 1980. After 6 months, I graduate from BUDS, Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Training, Class 106. And now I head to the teams, and I become an operator. And again, at 14, I started using, and I'd say within a very short period of time. I'm an addict alcoholic that takes 15 more years to figure that out. So I get into the military and I got the opportunity of a lifetime, and I take it and I succeed with it. And for the next 9 years and 6 months, I navigate the world as an operator as I am continually diminishing in my all aspects: mental acuity, physical acuity, spiritual acuity. And so 9 years and 6 months, I ended up getting discharged from SEAL Team 1 for drug use.
Oh boy.
Now, there's the pivot. Now, in that moment, I'm 29. I'd been operating for 9.5 years, and everybody screwed me. And the fact of the matter was, the military is not going to accept my behavior. It's done, and I can't go back.
Mhm.
So now I have to go forward into a civilian world I've never lived in.
Mhm.
So the first thing is, I go home to my father, who says, "Oh, I see you're back, and I see nothing has changed."
Oh boy.
So he says, "If you're coming here, you're going to take care of this problem or go somewhere else." So the bottom line is I took the offer. I stayed with him. 4 months later, I enter a 90-day recovery facility. And that's a beginning. What it did was give me 90 days without a drink or a drug for the first time in my life since I'm 14 years old.
Okay.
But now I've got to live life and all the doo-doo that gets dropped on me without my crutch, without
Hmm.
having what I use in drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And what it became was a challenge to understand emotions.
Hmm.
As the military trains all of us, not just special forces, but anybody that goes to boot camp, it's all about giving, creating a circumstance, putting you in an environment that you can pull a trigger,
Right.
because that's what the military is all about. And what they do is you shut off your emotions in order to pull that trigger.
Right.
Now, drugs and alcohol do the same thing. They shut off our emotions so that we don't have to feel.
Mm.
So now I'm 29 years old. I've got 90 days in recovery, and I've got no clue how to live life because they're telling me it's in my past. I have to go back to see it and feel it. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding.
Oh boy. Wow.
So I'm got about a year, and I'm going to use. It's coming. I can't figure this out. So it was the first time in my life that I had a fear like this, that I'm going to fail and it's going to cost me, my life or incarceration, because those were the only
Right.
options left if I did not figure out how to live life without drugs and alcohol.
Well, that sounds
So
like you went from you started out with the man number one. Man number two is when you got discharged. It was that everybody else's fault, right? And then now
yep,
you're man number three. You're realizing accountability. You
yeah,
know. Oh,
yep,
you know what? I totally forgot. I always thank the person who introduced us. I just remembered. I
yeah.
didn't do that in the beginning here, folks, and I don't even edit this stuff. So now you're gonna hear the thank you and almost in the middle. So we'll get back to Tom, but I want to thank Tom's publicist, Jasmine, is it Blomhoff?
Blow off.
Blomhoff. So, Jasmine, thank you for introducing my guest, Tom LaGrave, to me. All right. So that's done. I'm sorry I didn't put that now. It's out of sequence, but that's life. So back to Tom now. He is now man number three. He's got to step up, do the right thing, or else he's either going to jail or he's failing. He's got to hear dad say it again. So,
Yeah.
yep.
So my decision was I need to go and see what it was like to be 14 years old, to feel. And my decision brought me to become an overnight counselor at a recovery facility for adolescents called Daytop Village.
Okay.
I spent the next 4 years watching, being taught, learning. I did not go there to help kids.
Okay.
I went there for a selfish reason. I went there to learn how to live life.
Yep.
And at the end of that 4 year period, not only did I find an understanding, but those youth gave me purpose and meaning, that I now began a journey that I have dedicated my life to a generation of youth at a transitional period, going from adolescence to adulthood. And where that came about was I had no education. I just had an innate skill, and for whatever reason, kids responded to me. So I left Daytop Village because I wasn't going to get a caseload. I didn't have an education, and that was fine. I'm not going back to school. I'm highly educated, highly trained, and I can figure this out.
Yep.
So next job, Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
I'm a unit director for the next 4 years, ages 6 to 18. Daytop Village court appointed. Them kids got to talk to me. They Boys and Girls Club, they don't got to talk to me. They can ignore me. And for the first 2 years there, I felt disrespected. I felt, you know, I wanted to throttle them.
Yeah.
But I also had made a commitment to say, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up on myself or
Good for
on
you.
them.
Right.
Somewhere at 2 years, it came apparent to those young folks that my word was my bond. If I said it, I would do it. I was always on time. I was always there. I was always available. Now, those are 2 jobs, 8 years. And at this point, I've got an occurrence that is happening that is troubling for me. Young folks would bring me issues about things that were going on in their house, in their family, in their life.
Mhm.
And that wasn't my background. I didn't have knowledge to
Right.
how to answer that. And so this is where I humbled myself to say, okay, you need to figure out how to become better educated.
Yeah.
So
Right.
at that stage, I'm 38 years old, and I go back to school.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay.
Bachelor's, master's, license, board certification. And that's all wonderful, all that on your wall.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't have it for that.
No.
I have it because I can't have a kid bring something to me that I can't answer or find the answer.
Absolutely.
So therein lies the circle. Everything else that came after that was, to this point right now, I am in semi-retirement. I have a private practice. I've been clinical for the last 20 years. I've been working with youth for the last 35 years.
Right. And
And that's my story.
the other huge thing, you've been sober for how long?
For 5.5 years. At 32 years, I relapsed.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
5 years ago, I relapsed because I had bought into my press. I thought I had arrived. I am talented. I am special. I am unique. In my community, people come to me, they believe in me. And you know what? I forgot the golden rule that I'm Tom, addict
Yeah.
alcoholic, first and foremost, before
That's
anything
okay. That's the
else.
first day. Okay. All right.
And I forgot that lesson. And so 5.5 years ago, I relapsed, and it was horrible. First time in my life that I had suicidal ideation.
Wow.
I have a family. We're all addicts and alcoholics in recovery. My 2 younger brothers came to me at 2 weeks and said, look, you're either going to give it up and we're here for you, or you keep going where you're going, but don't come to us. Don't come near us. Stay away. And at 2 weeks, I had had enough to know that this was not good and this wasn't going anywhere good. And so I had to humble myself to again begin a process of looking inside to find where the demons that I did not come to terms with
Right.
all those years ago that I needed to find. And 5.5 years ago, I began a process. And today I'm probably happier than I've ever been.
Good for you. So, did you go back to another rehab place, or
No,
did you
no,
handle it
no. At
yourself?
that
You
point, it was I drew close to my brothers. They hovered around me.
okay?
We knew
Good.
I knew how to get sober. You go to meetings, you get your sponsor, you do your steps. All of that
Good.
was now again my responsibility to put
Okay.
into my life to make sure
Yeah.
circling myself with the right kinds of people
Good.
and
You
reliving.
learned who you were enough where you knew you could go inside and handle, and the truth was inside of you, and you could solve it with the help of your brothers.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. This let me see. The second thing I wanted. Oh, so then okay, so that was 32, and you said at 39 you went back to school. So then 7 years later you went back
Yeah.
to school. Got it. Got it. Good for you. 5.5 years. Wow. All right. So now tell me what you're doing now when you say you have private practice. I know you're doing Tuesdays and Thursdays semi-retired. What does that practice look like, and what type of clients do you have?
Um, when COVID came down, telehealth became a go-to. Prior to COVID, therapists did face-to-face. That was the only
Face to
thing we
face, right?
did.
Right.
There was telehealth, but nobody believed in it. At this stage, it's proven itself. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have 5 clients each day, 10. And I do that to keep my skill set honed and
Right.
sharp.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, I now get to volunteer where I want to go.
Yeah.
During my the last 30 years of, and especially the last 20 years, my skill set is expensive. You know, I charge a lot of money, and there wasn't an ability to get to everybody that I wanted to
Right.
because I had to, you know what, pay the bills, got a
Yeah.
family. At this stage, I get to choose who I give my talents to, and I get to give it where I want, and I don't have to charge because
Exactly.
I am okay.
Yep, I love that. And that's the progress that people like you who you don't want to keep all that information knowledge to yourself. You see a need out there and you want to share it with others.
Yep.
And I love that you value your value.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us we don't value ourselves enough, so we undercharge.
Yeah.
It's like holier than thou, and I'm definitely one who did that. I would give stuff away for free and all that, and then wow, that's so nice. Well, then I turn around, I'm like, how the heck am I going to pay my bills? So then really got to rethink it and say, you know what? If I respect myself and I value myself,
Yep.
then I'm going to charge accordingly, and therefore the clients or the patients who value what you do will pay that price, because and then when they pay that price, they're valuing themselves
Exactly.
because they realize they're important
Yes.
enough to invest in.
There you go.
Oh, I love it. All right, so take us to present day. Anything
Yep.
else you wanna share that you think the
Yeah.
audience would benefit from?
There's Honor Bound Academy
Hmm.
was a moment in my life. I did not get it to the level that I wanted to. It just didn't unfold. I was unable to get the funding to bring it about to the degree I wanted.
What's the
And
academy
so
called? I'm sorry.
Honor Bound Academy,
Okay.
adolescent, 18, 19, 20-year olds,
Okay.
transitioning adolescent to adulthood. I have been working with youth for long enough that I've seen a couple generations now, myself,
Yeah.
the what is it, the millennials, and this new generation.
Yeah.
And I've seen what we all have in common and what's missing.
Mm.
And that's where I came up. Honor Bound Academy is a rite of passage, a 1-year program. And that's what was my life for a period of time, a 10-year period that I tried to bring all that together. That today it did not get funded, but what I did was I could not give all that knowledge, insight, because I had gone back to academia to peer
Right.
review it to
Yeah.
have it so
Uh-huh.
it could be a gold standard.
Right.
And I would say about 4 or 5 years ago, right when I relapsed again, I had an epiphany of, the country's going in a place where I don't like it as an adult,
Right.
but especially for kids.
Yeah.
So I wrote a book.
Oh, good.
And the reason I wrote the book was because I wanted a platform to have the ability to be heard in a larger capacity. The
Right.
book's title is Special Welfare, Social Warfare, Adolescence to Adulthood, a Guidebook.
Love it.
So I'm telling our story in our country today. I'm telling my story of how I got educated by a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
And because that program couldn't get it to where I wanted it, I wrote a story around it and put it in the book for perpetuity. Somewhere in the future, it's
Yeah.
there. If somebody has the wherewithal, I gave you A to Z. I gave you all
Yep.
the research,
Guidebooks.
and
Yeah.
all of it is in that book.
It's powerful, and you know what? The funding should be there. And if there's a way to
Yeah.
resurface the request for the funding, because I'll tell you, what happens in our society is when we're told 18 is the magic number and you are now an adult, it's like, well, what the heck happened yesterday before my birthday hit? The hour and the minute I was born, I was a child. And then overnight, I turn into an adult. Like,
Yeah.
like the magic wand. That's not helpful. And what happens is then it's defined by to us the stereotypical the way you're supposed to act as an adult.
Yep.
And basically what society tells us is, all right, now you put the child away. Don't listen to the child. There's no more play. There's no more fun. Now you got to take life seriously. And we end up changing as people and we start ignoring the child in us. And that's where a lot of the depression and suicide and all this stuff, because now this crazy world, if we're so damn serious about it, we've got to have some kind of humor and fun in life to break the monotony of this overwhelm. So we've got to start saying yes to that inner child because he's still in us,
Yeah.
you know? So thank you for writing the book. Perhaps timing's everything, and perhaps if you bring out that idea again for funding and get out of that semi-retirement, Tom, and may perhaps people are ready for it who have the money. I'm
And
just
that
throwing that
was
out there.
also an ulterior motive to writing it, to tell the
Yeah,
story, to say
yeah.
it, because I wrote in there, I wrote specifically one of the chapters to the 10 wealthiest men in the country and
Mm,
said, and I
good.
talked to each one of them in that chapter saying what we could do. So yeah, if it happens, I come out of retirement because it hasn't changed. Our kids today are
Mm.
in more of a anxious, depressive
Oh yeah.
environment,
Yeah,
and the suicide rate is just off the charts,
yeah,
and their use of drugs and substances is just not, because they don't know any better. Like you
yeah,
said,
yeah,
society says this,
yeah,
and this is what I become because
yeah.
I don't know any better.
No, it's I mean, and you look at it, and you used to be once the child left the home, he or she doesn't come back because they go through that route of the marriage. And now, you have them staying at home 25, 30 years
Yeah.
old because the cost of living is such that finding a home by being able to buy a home on your own, it's everything's priced us out of being able to be independent and where we want to go, and it's happening at a later date. My oldest son's 23 and he's got autism spectrum disorder, and he thinks everybody's ahead of him and he'll never be independent, never able to buy a home, earn enough money to buy a home. What a crappy feeling at 23
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
feel that way. So I'm trying to work optimistically and really live out of abundance rather than scarcity. And it's a lot of things he says I agree with, but I don't want to agree with him out loud because we got to keep his optimism up there. But
Yes.
I don't know. Well, we're at the point where I know that the audience has certainly captured the essence of Tom LaGrave, and they're going to want to get in touch with you, Tom. And here's how you can get in touch with Tom. Everybody, go to his website. It's the honor HONOR bound BOUND academy.org. The honor bound academy.org. You'll find every platform he's on and be able to get in touch with him and be able to have a call with him. So definitely do that, please. Well, Tom, I've got two final questions for you. You ready? All
Bring
right.
it.
The first one, you're sitting in your happy space, happy place, and you're sitting down with 7 to 10-year-old Tom LaGrave, and you want to give him advice about life. What are you going to tell him?
Follow your bliss. The saying is carpe diem, seize the day, do not hesitate, go forth and conquer, because I wasn't going to listen to anything except for something like that.
Love that. Switching hats. Now you're sitting down with young Tom LaGrave, the young businessman, young entrepreneur, and you've got some business advice you'd like to share with him. What are you going to tell him?
Yeah. And this is the critical essence. This was the error in my, if there, no regrets, but there were errors made. And one of them was, I am clinically sound. I am clinically capable. That's the micro. I can sit across and alter somebody's life, but I'm not a CEO. I did not stay somewhere long enough to work my way up to have the ability to know what is expected of if you're the CEO of the
Right.
or the director.
Right.
I lack that skill set, and that's the piece I would say early on. Instead of going to get your information. I went into the prison system, child protective services with the developmentally disabled, with, I worked at a retirement home. I wanted to learn all of that, but I could have done that in one place and worked my way up to running the place.
Wow.
That's what I would say. Understand there's a micro and a macro. And if you want to be the boss, you need to get both skill sets.
Love it. Great advice. Well, Tom, I want to thank you for not only coming on, but coming into my life. And again, Jasmine, thanks for assisting with that. I want you to suggest stay who you are, don't change. Celebrate the success you've done with the 5.5 years. What's the date? Do you have a certain date that you celebrate?
October 17th.
All right. October 17th, we're all going to celebrate with you.
Yeah.
All right. So keep doing what you're doing. You're a great human being, and so thankful you came into our lives.
You've been great. Thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it. And your guests.
My pleasure and our pleasure. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe and give us a review to help others find it. I'd like you to answer this question. Are you living the life you want to live, or are you living the life others want you to live? I'd like you to think about that for a second, because I strongly suggest you live the life you want to live. If you want to learn more about what I stand for and my services and how I'm able to help many men get out of their own way, please go to my website at www.profitcompassion.com. Feel free to also email me at drew@profitcompassion.com. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Take care of yourself and choose to write your own story instead of letting others write it for you.